Hi, my name is Santiago Ortiz, and I'm the host for Creative Experience Podcast. This episode would be our 12th episode, and it's actually going to be concluding season 1 of this podcast. Now, the reason I started this podcast was just as a passion project for my son, Santiago. And I have the pleasure and privilege to actually have him here on set today with me as my last guest for the first season. Now, we're going to kind of go over everybody's appearances, all the guests that I've had over the first season, and kind of deep dive a little bit into what he thinks or what type of knowledge he was able to get from everybody who participated. I also want to give out a huge thanks to everybody who actually appeared here and supported the podcast, either as a guest or has been watching or listening to this. Again, this is solely a passion project for my son, who is also trying to develop his own skills in life, learning from other people's experiences, and ultimately hoping to achieve some type of success along the way. So with all that being said, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm all right.
Good. How are you feeling being on set now that you're not watching, but you're actually participating?
It's cool. It's really cool.
Are you a little nervous?
A little bit, but like not too much.
Yeah. Most people, to be honest with you, that participate, they feel nervous at first, and then they kind of like, as we start talking, the jitters kind of fade away.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, let's just deep dive into this whole thing, right? Mm-hmm. So this podcast, I wanted to bring people in different walks of life that have different careers in different industries, that have obviously shared their knowledge. And so I just kind of wanted to get your opinion as to what you've thought so far about the whole experience, the whole podcast.
I think it's super cool the way that everyone comes together and kind of talks about what they've gone through and how they got to where they are today. I think it's truly amazing that some people succeeded after the struggles that they went through. Right.
And that's kind of ultimately what I think that people don't realize, that you have to go through a certain journey to be able to get to a certain point in life, right? And some people have achieved success, and then others maybe feel like they haven't, but they have achieved some type of success along that journey regardless, because either turning a failure into a win, that's ultimately a part of your success right there, right? So, okay, good that you picked up on that, but anything else, any other feedback that you have so far?
It was just cool to see everyone like I know come on the show and kind of talk about it, because I never knew some things about like Theo Will.
Right. Even the people that are super close to you, you never kind of had that type of talk with them, right? Yeah. What did you learn, or what was it that kind of like impacted you about what you learned from your uncle?
It was kind of crazy that he just got thrown into the deep end. Like he had to like either fight or flight kind of thing, that he just had to learn the ropes. Right.
Because Will went through a layoff, right? He got laid off at some point in his corporate career, and that's kind of what pushed him into start doing more things as an entrepreneur. Yeah, and so he's succeeding in life. He's done really well for himself after that whole hiccup, and it just comes to show that when one door closes, usually multiple others will open.
Yeah, it's all about the path you pick, right?
The path you pick, yeah, exactly. Tell me more about that.
Well, like let's say something happens, like you're stuck and you had something happen. So it's like about like what you do, how do you push through and persevere after something like that?
Yeah, very good. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just the attitude. I think at the end of the day, whatever attitude you're gonna have is gonna carry you through.
Yeah,
whether it's a positive attitude or a negative attitude. No, yeah. So super like right on point. What else is there? Any other, since we're talking about guests, any other guests that kind of either the journey or the where they're at in life, anything that impacted you in a positive or negative way?
Jeff.
Okay. Jeff MacGyver. Yeah. Talk to me about Jeff.
Just the way that he kind of had turned his life upside down and had to like pick up like where he left off pretty much.
Yeah. And so the story with Jeff was that he made some bad decisions because he didn't have a mentor early in his career when he was trying to be an entrepreneur. And in his end, he went from trying to be, he worked for a corporation, more like a family business, then tried the entrepreneur thing. And that didn't work out for him because he didn't have the right leadership or mentorship for him to kind of, take off. And then in the end, he ended up actually finding a good gig with, in corporate America. And that has actually worked out for him as well.
Yeah.
So now let me ask you this. where do you see yourself maybe at this time? There's no right or wrong answer because things change as you go along. But where do you see yourself in regards to maybe, pursuing a corporate America career, or do you see more as trying to maybe pursue more of a small business owner or on some type of entrepreneurship?
I don't know. I think entrepreneurship is really cool because you can get creative in so many different ways, and it's truly amazing. Like what people think of that you just never know you needed.
I know. Do you have anything in mind that maybe you've like, oh my God, I can't believe they made money off of that?
The Scrub Daddy.
The Scrub Daddy, yeah.
The sponge.
Yeah. Yeah, but it works.
It took off.
Right. It's Scrub Daddy. What about, did you know that at some point, I can't remember, I think it's still a business. I'm not sure. This happened many years ago. There was somebody who was potatoes. They were buying potatoes and they were writing on them and sending messages. So you could go to the website, I believe, and you could tell, like, if I wanted to send you a message via potato, somebody would write the message on the potato with a Sharpie.
On the bare potato.
Yes. And then they would mail it to you. And you would get the potato.
Just a potato.
Just a potato with a message.
What if the mail was late? Then you just get like a moldy potato.
No, I mean,
or what?
potatoes usually have a good shelf life.
Right.
So, but you would get the potato. And, and it's something you can't imagine how many things people make money off of.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. And again, I think I say this all the time, or at least in the previous episodes, there's no right or wrong way to go about it. If you get a job, even if it's a 9 to 5, but it allows you to, one, satisfy your financial responsibilities, which you don't have right now, but at some point down the line, you're gonna have. And then also gives you some type of fulfillment, something that you feel proud of.
Yeah, that accomplished.
Yes, some type of accomplishment, right? That's kind of what you have to try and pursue. And right now it's a great time for you to explore and kind of, feel around to what you may want to do.
Yeah, because there's so many open doors that you can go to.
Right. Yeah. The world is yours, at this point. So my next question is, what do you feel like you're leaning to in regards to a career right now? If you had to pick and choose, and again, no right or wrong answer, but if you had to pick something right now with the knowledge that you have, what were you leaning more in regards to maybe a career or some type of industry?
Probably coding.
Coding?
Yeah.
Tell me more about it.
Well, I'm taking this coding class in school, and I don't know. I think it's cool. It's like block coding with Python or something.
Okay. You lost me already, but continue. Yeah, no, because it's super cool that you guys are learning that, because we didn't get that chance, at least not in school. Tech classes was typing.
Yeah.
Our tech class was like learning how to type and trying to type as fast as possible. But for you, it's coding now.
Yeah, and some typing, but not
some
so much.
Typing, right. But what is it about coding, or the whole part of whatever that whole thing is, that kind of interests you about it?
Well, it's really cool, but like it's super tedious. Like everything has to be like typed in a certain specific way with like the same perfect conditions, and it's hard.
It's like programming, right?
Yeah.
Right. What are you guys using to program?
Code.org. It's
and
like a
then
website.
what type of coding are you guys doing to kind of like to do the actual work? Like, are you guys working with?
So we're using block programming, and we have to find our way through puzzles and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's like, it'll tell you like move forward like 10 pixels or something like that. And then you put it in and you hit run, and then it does a little command. And it's just about how you place the blocks in order to see how it goes.
Okay. Yeah. Have you guys done anything with, like, I think you mentioned lightings or lighting or something like that to kind of like run once you guys run the program?
Light?
Like LED lights or anything like that? Are you guys
we had these little boards with LEDs on them that were programmable. So you would plug them into your Chromebook, and then you would plug them in like through whatever wire. And you went to a website and you could tell it how to do something.
So you could actually tell it how to light the patterns and stuff like that? Oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
So there was this one that I remember doing where it was rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
Where it was like you shook it, and then it showed you like a circle for paper, or like an X for scissors, and it was cool.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it was like kind of like physically interacting with code.
Yeah, yeah. And so the end result was the actual the LED lights just showing you whatever. Yeah. Neat. I mean, again, I didn't go through that when I was in high school because it wasn't offered at the time. And times change. We know with you, I think the amount of technology that goes into your classes, obviously having a Chromebook is a big thing.
Yeah.
Right? We had just a bunch of books, and,
right.
Yeah, we just had to kind of read it off of that. But yeah, times change, and you know, I'm glad that you're kind of entertaining the idea of coding, because obviously I know it pays well, and
Yeah.
at the same time, if you like it, you know, and the great thing about it is that, you know, one specific industry can offer so many different paths, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like you can go into coding in, let's look at Brad Vidal, for example.
Yeah.
He was going to school for math. I mean, he was getting his bachelor's for a math degree, you know, like imagine that. And then he ends up being, now ultimately he's a software engineer.
Yeah.
Right. And he you know, he was a software managing engineer at one point, but you know, now he he loves doing just the engineering behind the software and stuff like that. And that for him is his fulfillment. But he started with math.
Yeah.
And so that just comes to show you that within one industry or one thing, or the things that you learn, because he was learning in school, and then he took like this class that ultimately led him to start doing a little bit of website development.
Yeah.
And that it led into software engineering. And
it's almost like a domino effect that like you take one class or you do something and then it just leads into what you become.
Right. And you never know you never know what you're going to like. I think sometimes because you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
But that's the thing. You have to try out like a bunch of stuff or classes that you may take later down the line that you're going to be like, oh, I like that, you know, or there's some type of interest that just gets your attention. Right. Yeah. Anything else? Any other type of careers that you think are kind of like out there that you've taken an interest in?
I like mechanical engineering.
Tell me more about that.
I like seeing how things work and like stuff like that. So my friend in class was like messing around with this Rubik's Cube. I was like, yo, can I see that real quick? Because he like took one of the pieces off or something. And so I was turning it and I was kind of just looking how it worked. And I thought it was super cool the way that it turned and helped me figure out the mechanics of it. Yeah. And then eventually like they scrambled it a little and I actually saw it almost all the way.
Yeah. No, those are still tough, but you like the whole concept of like learning how it actually works, right? Because even though it's a simple concept, right? Yeah. For all the cubes to turn in specific ways, I mean, there's a certain mechanic behind it. You're right. And again, right, within that industry, there's all types of engineering that you can kind of go into. Sound engineering, for example, which, funny enough, you know, Justin Vidal, who is Brad Vidal's brother, who was here as well as a guest, he does sound engineering, right? Sound production. And that's another way of, if you want to think about it, of putting things together, because he grabs a bunch of sounds and he makes it sound a specific way that's only running in his head. I mean, think about it from that perspective. It's pretty interesting to have also that, you know, that creativeness to allow you to build something from scratch.
Right. It's like you almost like take it from your head and you just kind of piece it together how you thought of it.
Yeah. It's just like that. Yeah. All right. So going back into maybe the guests, you know, that have appeared here, anyone else that kind of piqued your interest in maybe their story or, again, their success, their failures, anything that you learned?
Megan's story was pretty big.
Yeah, like, Megan Young?
Yeah.
What was it about it that kind of caught your attention?
Just like the suddenness that she had to like pick up her family and like do something to provide.
Right. Yeah. And she's doing really well, you know, right now with her job and taking care of her family and doing all those things. So, which is pretty cool because women sometimes don't get the credit, you know, that they should, especially for her working in a male dominated industry, which is something that, you know, I don't think, unfortunately, you know, well, fortunately for you, won't affect you, but, you know, there's still a lot of things like inequalities in the workplace that affect women. And so, yeah, she's definitely kicking butt and you know, taking names, which is amazing. And I'm super happy that she's doing so well for herself too.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah. Was there anyone else?
Winnie King.
Tell me about it.
She was just funny.
Yeah, Winnie is funny. Yeah.
But it was cool. I never know she had like so many businesses. Like she ran a nail salon at one point, and I thought that was crazy.
Yeah. She's just kind of like, and she's she always has had, ever since I known her, has the entrepreneur mindset. Yeah. Which is always trying to learn something new and then, you know, probably, or looking for ways to make money, right? Like she's always trying to see whatever she's learned, how does that have the potential to eventually earn money?
Yeah, evolve into something cool.
Yeah. And not a lot of people have that mindset. I got to tell you, me personally, I never had that mindset up until like, you know, a few years ago. and it changes your perspective as to how you can make money in life.
Well, I'm sure.
Yeah. So that's what I'm telling you. Like for me personally, going from a 9 to 5 into more of an entrepreneurship and running my own business. One, obviously I like the flexibility.
Yeah.
Where I can work whenever I have to work.
Yeah.
And I can work wherever I want to work. I don't have to go to an office per se.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
It's kind of like you just take the laptop and like do it.
Yeah, it gives you that flexibility that I want, right? Especially having, like, for example, wanting to do things with you, wanting to do things with your siblings, stuff like that, which is it's amazing. It really is. The one thing you kind of give up is sometimes you don't know when to stop.
Yeah.
And you've seen that sometimes I'm like trying to get through projects and working late nights or whatever. So it's kind of like one of those things that you kind of have to learn to do.
Yeah.
But aside from that, obviously, you are your own boss.
Yeah.
So it's pretty rewarding, at least for me right now at this moment in my life. And, I plan to continue doing it for a while.
Right.
Hopefully.
It's super cool with all these things.
Yeah. I mean, obviously your mom doesn't like me buying a bunch of stuff because definitely equipment is expensive.
Yeah.
But, like the outcome turns out pretty good. And
right. You just have to put the effort into it.
You just a little bit of elbow grease. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Now, more recently, you've taken a little bit of interest in something new for you, which is actually a sport.
Yeah.
So we tried different sports with you, but nothing ever caught on.
It didn't really stick.
Yeah. But recently, tell me about your experience.
So I started volleyball at Forza, and it's just been really cool. Like, obviously, they're a lot better than me. But
the people that you play with.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was kind of you just taking me to like go watch your games on sand in this little community, and like taking me every Wednesday to play, and it got me to the point where I started feeling more comfortable to do things, and then signing me up at Saturday class at Forza until I eventually joined club.
Yeah.
So I think it's been cool that I had to go through the journey and kind of like just pick up the pace a little to learn to keep up with everyone at my level.
Right. Because you guys are roughly the same age, right? You're 14 right now.
Yeah.
And some of the kids are 14, 13, 12.
Yeah.
Right? But they're all playing more advanced because they've been playing for at least 1 year each.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah. So how does that make you feel coming into an environment where you don't know anything and obviously people know what they're doing?
Yeah.
What was the experience there? Because how did that make you feel? Like, tell me more about that.
So at first it was super nerve-wracking. Like, I didn't want to go to practice. I didn't want to just show up. I just wanted to stop. But eventually I made friends, and then that helped me like just start getting better at the practices, put more effort into it. And then my first tournament was a big helper, because then I realized, because I was so scared, I was like, oh my God, what if they put me in and I suck and then everyone's gonna get me? But no, everyone was super supportive. They helped me out. We help each other out where we need to, and then like, hey, can you block a little bit better? And like, oh yeah, sure. So it's just really cool how like we're close.
So you went to your first tournament. You had been playing with them for what, like 3 weeks maybe?
Like 2 weeks.
2 weeks, right? And you had to go to your first tournament.
Yeah.
So yes, I remember you being pretty nervous that day. And and I remember telling you, oh, don't worry, they probably won't play you. And I think the first game that you went,
they played me.
You. So it's one of those things, right? Like you mentioned with Uncle Will. You either fight or you flight.
Yeah.
And you chose to fight, which is great. But obviously the nerves, it doesn't mean that they're going to go away.
Right.
But you realize, again, that, based on your words, you realize that, everybody was supportive and was there to help you and not, kind of like tear you down for what you don't know. Yeah. So, how do you feel about the experience now looking back at it? Because it's only been about 3 months that you kind of started this journey.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about it now versus maybe the way that you felt about it in that moment?
So what I feel about it now is that like I get a little more frustrated with myself, because like, okay, come on, I could have been there, or I could have helped put that up, or it's like, whereas before, like, oh my God, why didn't I do that? Like, I don't know what to do. And I still have those moments. Like, they ask me to like go back when I'm usually up in the front trying to block.
Yeah, and so for people that don't know, in the front, you're more of an attacker or defender in regards to like being able to block or hit. And then if you're playing in the back, you're more trying to pass and dig for balls, right?
Yeah.
Like for the balls, make sure
just
that
trying to keep the play going.
Correct. So then they sent you to the back.
Yeah.
And?
I lost a few balls, not gonna lie. I lost like 2 or 3. But eventually I started to pick up like what to do. And I have my friends in the back tell me like, yo, you have to go there and then you have to just watch for the ball to come and then move back up.
Yeah.
I was, oh, okay. So it's more like just go here for a quick sec just to see if they need you and then go back to where you're supposed to be.
Yeah. But again, the support is there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Sure. Like more, I think it applies to anything in life, really. Doesn't matter where you go. You're always going to find people that are going to want to help you.
Yeah.
And it's just because there are kind people out in this world. And there are people that, once you're technically just the way you're playing on your team right now for volleyball, once you join a job or something like that, you're on that team. Yeah. Right? It's that co-working team or your own co-workers or whatever. So everybody wants to help each other out for the most part. There's always a rotten apple every now and then that you'll encounter, and that's okay. You don't have to vibe with everybody. But just remember that when you're nervous, one, everybody starts there. Nobody, comes to this world knowing everything.
Yeah.
Everybody has to go through a learning curve for whatever it is that they're gonna, choose to do or whatever they're doing. And then, if you can find a support system, which in this case, your teammates, they continue to help you out to try and get you to improve.
Yeah.
The same thing applies out in the outside world. You can, hopefully find some type of support team or some type of support system that allows you to, not fall back on them, but like rely on them or their knowledge to get you up to speed to where you need to be.
Yeah, just kind of give you that push that you might need. Yeah,
that push, that knowledge, that save. I mean, you never know. And it's nice to have that. It really is.
It's a great help.
Yeah. So how do you feel about it now? I mean, now that you've been playing for 3 months, where do you feel you're at right now with your skills?
I still suck at some parts.
You don't suck. I mean, again, it's you're still not up to speed, but it's only been 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. So have to be patient. Give yourself some time. But go on.
I could work on my blocking.
Yeah.
Just kind of like being there and like kind of moving a little bit faster, because normally we do double block and that's hard for me because I have to like stay behind the person and not try to like get too close to them.
Not step on them.
I remember I got called out for that and it sucked.
But again, it's a learned experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do a lot better at that now. And then it's just hitting. Getting the timing right to go up into the air and actually hit the ball down.
And that's a tough one, man. It takes a second to get that one. So don't worry. Again, it comes with time. The more you do it, every single practice that you do gets you one step closer to the goal.
Yeah.
Right. Even though maybe you don't see it right then and there, your body is getting used to the whole, what you're trying to do. Your mind, you're building
muscle
memory. Like all these things that come together at some point. And when you least expect it, you're either going to be up to level or you're going to surpass the people that you play with, which that is where you really like, that is the goal. And that's when you finally reach like, cool, like I finally got here. And then, you continue to do practice. You continue to get better.
Yeah.
So where do you think this summer is going to take you? What are your plans for this summer? You're about to end school.
Yeah. One
more week. So what are the plans for this summer?
We'll help you out with some of your videos and things like that.
Yes. So I just hired this guy for summer. So he's going to be working with the Media Corp, which is my company that produces everything here for Creative Experience. So yes, so you have a job, which is good. Okay. And what are you going to be learning?
Everything. Just how to shoot, like help you shoot some shots that maybe you couldn't get to, or just like so you can do one thing and I could do something else that you might need later.
Yeah.
And maybe editing some videos, like
definitely need the help there. Yeah, you can edit as much as you want,
like Adobe or DaVinci, like you said.
Yeah, so that would, and that's gonna take you some time to learn. But again,
I'm sure
you have the time right now, to do it. So that's good.
So yeah, just all around help with everything here.
Yeah,
and hopefully soon help with this. Like I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, no, that'd be cool. I mean, if one day you want to run it or do an episode yourself, I don't mind that. Once you feel comfortable with it, or you want to interview somebody just like we're doing right now.
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be pretty cool to see you on the other side.
Yeah.
All right. So, any final thoughts? Anything else you want to cover before we kind of wrap it up?
No, not much. Besides, it's been great, super fun.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad you're having fun with this, but. I just want to thank you. And, like I mentioned, this space is something that I created for you. But I gotta say, I've learned so much through this experience, just interviewing different people as well. Because again, you have people that you know or people that you don't know, and even with the people that you know, I've never had to sit down with most. As a matter of fact, with every single guest that was here, in this first season, I've never had to sit down with somebody to kind of ask them about their life or their experiences, right? You get bits and pieces of there either when we were working together, and with the new people, obviously you don't get that. But I think, believe it or not, most people kind of fall into that category where you only get bits and pieces of someone, but you don't get to learn about their actual life and their experiences and their, just their failures, their success, their journey.
Yeah, it's almost about like asking the right question to get pieces of the puzzle.
Correct. So this has enabled me to actually have somebody and sit down and tell them, hey, I want to learn about you. Tell me about your life and what got you to this point in life. And surprisingly, everybody has opened up, which is...
It's great.
It's awesome because the knowledge that they give me, right? Well, you get it too. It's available to you. It's available to whoever wants to watch this.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool in the sense that it's it kind of gets saved, right? It gets saved. It gets shared, and people get to know that person in a different light as well. Again, you having even your uncle, Tio Will. Him being your uncle, you never kind of like even knew these things about him and his family. So, this whole thing has actually been a really cool and awesome experience in the sense of being able to learn from others, different walks of life, different paths in their careers, different, points in life right now, different ages, right? So, I hope you continue to learn from this. I hope you continue to watch the episodes so that you can get the same experience that I'm getting here. And, where I'm closing out season 1 with you here. And the idea would be to bring you on board every single time towards the end of the season to close out and talk about, just what you've learned that whole season.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. That'd be super cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you think so. So season 2 is coming up next week. Yeah, so we're in June already.
Yeah.
But season 2 is going to be coming up in June. And I already have the first guest, which is great.
Nice.
And so, we'll start that off, see where it goes, do about another 11, 12 episodes, and then, see where this goes.
Right.
But just want to tell you that I love you. You mean the world to me, and I hope you know that. And again, I really hope that you continue to watch this so you can get as much knowledge from this or learn something, from someone, whether it's me or somebody else.
Yeah, I love you too. Appreciate this whole thing because I feel like it's been such a great help, like getting to know how things are done in the world. Yeah,
it gives you a different perspective, right? Yeah. All right, man. Well, we'll wrap it up. Anything else before we close it up?
I'm good.
All right. Well, for everybody watching, really appreciate the support. Again, season 2 will start shortly, within about a week's time frame. I'll be having in here Miss Catherine Schiffer, who's a local realtor, but we'll actually be honing in her book, which is based around her life. So super interesting chat that I had with her, and learned so many things as well. So really excited to close season 1 with my special guest. Really excited to bring in and start season 2. And we'll see where this leads. But just wanted to thank everybody, again, all the guests that have appeared in season 1. I really appreciate the support. Everybody who's watched and listened, really appreciate the support. So just continue to watch. If you have any feedback, just please know that this episode can be listened to and or watched on Spotify for no charge whatsoever. As long as you have an account with Spotify, whether it's a free account or a paid one, you can actually watch and listen to the episodes there. But it's also on YouTube if you just want to watch it on YouTube. It is also on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts, but only on the audio version. So again, thank you so much for your support. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you on the next one.